Hello, and welcome back to our podcast. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been with us before, we're so glad you're here. This is the place where we help you build your confidence and speak English fluently, naturally, and like a pro.
That's right. And today's episode is a special one. Let me ask you, are you ready to transform your English in just 30 days? What if we told you that in just 1 month you could speak English like a pro, all through real-life practice?
Sounds exciting, right? Well, stay with us because we're about to reveal a powerful 30-day practice plan, and trust me, this works no matter where you are in the world. India, Brazil, Japan, Africa, this is for you.
And here's the best part. We've saved some golden tips for the end of this episode. In Chapter 10, we'll share our secret fluency boosters that could completely change the way you speak English.
So, make sure you listen all the way through. You don't want to miss it.
All right, are you ready to get started? Let's dive right in.
All right, so before we even talk about practice routines, grammar, or fancy vocabulary, we need to talk about the single most important thing, your mindset. And trust me, this is what separates those who struggle for years from those who start speaking confidently in just months. Your mindset is your foundation. If you get this right, everything else becomes easier. I want to share a quick story with you. I remember meeting this young woman, Maria, from Mexico when I was traveling. She had only been learning English for about 3 months. But when I spoke to her, I was amazed. She wasn't perfect. Her grammar had mistakes, her accent was strong. But you know what? She was talking. She was expressing herself with confidence. She wasn't scared of making mistakes. And because of that, we had a real, flowing conversation, like two friends. So I asked her, Maria, how did you get so confident so quickly? And she told me something powerful. She said, I stopped trying to be perfect. I just wanted to speak and connect with people. Mistakes don't matter. Connection does. And that hit me, because so many English learners are stuck in fear. They think, oh no, what if I say something wrong? What if people laugh at me? But the truth is, nobody cares about your mistakes as much as you do. People just want to understand you. They want to hear what you have to say. So, if you're listening right now, ask yourself, are you holding yourself back because you're afraid of making mistakes?
Yes, Adam. And I can relate to that so much. When I was learning English, I was terrified. I would stay quiet in class even when I knew the answer, just because I was afraid of saying it wrong. And guess what? That fear was the only thing stopping me from improving. The day I decided to let go of that fear, everything changed. I remember telling myself, Sophia, mistakes are not bad. Mistakes are your teachers. Every time you make a mistake, your brain learns. You get better. But if you stay silent, if you don't try, you don't grow. So, if you're listening right now, we need you to switch your mindset. You need to tell yourself, mistakes are my best friends. I am learning. I don't need to be perfect. I will speak, no matter what. Because here's the truth. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is confidence. Real-life English is not a grammar exam. It's talking to your friends, ordering coffee, asking for help at the airport. Nobody's giving you marks. They just need to understand you.
Absolutely, Sophia. And here's another thing I want to add. Start thinking in English. This is a huge shift. Most learners translate everything from their native language to English in their heads, and it slows them down. For example, let's say you speak Spanish or Hindi or Arabic. When you see a table, your brain goes, okay, in my language that's mesa, or mez, or mezda. And in English, it's, oh, table. That's exhausting, and it makes speaking so slow. So here's what you need to do. Start naming things in English in your daily life. When you wake up and see your bed, say, bed. When you brush your teeth, say, toothbrush. When you feel happy, say, I'm happy. It sounds simple, but this is powerful. You are training your brain to think directly in English. And when you do this for 30 days, you will notice a huge difference. Your words will come faster. Speaking will feel natural.
Exactly. And I know some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't know the word? That's okay. Describe it. If you see a spoon, but you forget the word, just say, that thing I eat with, the small thing for soup. That's still communication. And someone will say, oh, you mean a spoon? Boom! You just learnt the word, and you'll never forget it. So the point is, don't freeze. Keep speaking. Keep describing. Your goal is not to be perfect. Your goal is to keep the conversation moving.
Exactly, Sophia. And that's what separates people who speak English confidently from those who don't. The confident speakers are not the ones who know the most words. They are the ones who keep going, even when they forget a word or make a mistake. So, let's break it down for you, our listeners. Here are your mindset shifts for the next 30 days. 1. Mistakes are your best friends. Don't fear them, embrace them. 2. Think in English. Start labeling your world in English every day. 3. Consistency beats perfection. It's better to speak for 10 minutes every day than study grammar for 3 hours once a week.
Yes, and we want you to start this today. When you finish this episode, look around you and start naming things in English. When you feel tired, say, I'm tired. When you're eating, say, I'm eating lunch. Do it every day. Because in 30 days, your brain will start thinking in English naturally.
That's it. And trust us, when you change your mindset, you change your English. All right, let's move to Chapter 2, where we're giving you the exact daily routine to practice English like a pro.
Stay with us. This is where your 30-day transformation really begins.
All right, so now that we've talked about your mindset, about how mistakes are your friends and thinking in English is your goal, let's move into something equally important. Your daily routine. Because here's the truth. Success in speaking English fluently is not about doing one big thing perfectly. It's about doing small things consistently, every single day. I've seen so many learners get this wrong. They say, Adam, I'm going to study for 4 hours on Saturday. And guess what? They do it once or twice and then life happens. They get busy. They skip practice for the next 5 days, and suddenly they're back to zero. Does this sound familiar to anyone listening right now? If it does, I get it. I've been there too, even when I was learning Spanish. I thought studying for long hours was the answer, but the truth is, what really works is showing up every day, even for just 10 or 15 minutes. That's how you build fluency. That's how pros do it. And that's exactly what you're going to do over the next 30 days. So, let me ask you, are you ready to build a routine that works?
Yes, Adam. And I love that you said showing up every day, because that's the real difference. Let me be honest with you, everyone listening. When I first started learning English, I thought I needed to be perfect every time I sat down to practice. If I was tired, I wouldn't practice. If I only had 10 minutes, I thought, oh, what's the point? 10 minutes is nothing. But that was a mistake, a big one. Because 10 minutes every day is better than 3 hours once a week. Why? Because when you do something every day, you're telling your brain, hey, this is important. Your brain starts to work for you, even when you're not studying. Suddenly, you're hearing English everywhere. You're remembering new words faster. You're feeling more confident when you speak. So if you're listening right now, I want you to know this. Fluency is not built in one day. It's built in small steps, every day. And today we're going to give you a simple 3-step daily routine that will change your English if you stick to it for the next 30 days. L.
Absolutely, Sophia. And I promise you, these 3 steps are simple. Anyone can do them. You can do them while you're cooking, walking, or even lying in bed. But they're powerful. So, get ready. Here we go. Step number 1. Speak for 10 minutes every day. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But Adam, I don't have anyone to practice with. Guess what? You don't need anyone. Your best speaking partner is already with you. It's you. Talk to yourself. Seriously. Stand in front of a mirror and have a conversation. Describe your day. Today, I woke up late. I had coffee. I went to work. Or talk about your dreams. I want to visit Canada. I want to learn English. I want a better job. It doesn't matter what you say. What matters is you're using your mouth. You're training your brain and your tongue to work together in English. When I was learning Spanish, I used to talk to myself all the time. At first, it felt weird. I was like, am I crazy? But guess what? It worked. Because every day I was practicing, even when no one was around.
Oh, Adam, I love that. And I'll tell you what worked for me. I used to pretend I was a TV presenter. I would stand in front of my mirror and say, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show." It was fun. It made me laugh. But at the same time, I was building my confidence. I was getting comfortable with English coming out of my mouth. So, for everyone listening, try this today. After this podcast, go to your mirror and talk. You can say anything. Describe your room. Talk about your plans. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to make English feel natural.
Exactly. And that brings us to step number 2. Listen to English every day. This is non-negotiable. Listening is fuel for your fluency, because the more you listen, the more your brain absorbs. The rhythm of English, the natural way sentences are formed, new words, new phrases, and even pronunciation. And here's the best part, you don't need to understand everything. Seriously, you don't. If you understand 50% or 60%, that's okay. Your brain is still learning. It's still working. I used to listen to English podcasts while cooking. I didn't understand everything, but over time, it became easier. So you can listen to this podcast, watch YouTube videos, or even Netflix, whatever you enjoy.
Yes, and here's a little hack. Listen to the same thing twice. The first time, just listen. The second time, focus more. Try to catch new words. And over time, you'll notice you understand more and you speak more naturally.
Perfect. And finally, we have step number 3. Learn 5 new words every day and use them. This is crucial. Vocabulary is your tool for expressing yourself, but memorizing is not enough. If you don't use new words, you forget them. So, every day, pick 5 words. Write them down, and here's the key. Make a sentence with each word. Say it out loud. For example, if you learn the word excited, say, "I'm excited about my weekend," or "I'm excited to learn English." When you speak the word, it becomes part of you.
Yes, and I'll add this. Connect the new word to your real life. If you learn the word nervous, think about a time you were nervous. Maybe before an exam or an interview. Say, "I was nervous before my exam." When you connect words to your experiences, they stay in your mind.
Absolutely. So let's recap your daily small wins routine. 1. Speak for 10 minutes every day. Talk to yourself or use a mirror. 2. Listen to English every day. Podcasts, YouTube, Netflix, whatever works. 3. Learn 5 new words every day. Make sentences. Speak them out loud.
That's it. It's simple but powerful. And the key, do it every day. Even if you're tired, even if you're busy, 10 minutes is better than nothing. Because small wins build momentum. And after 30 days, you'll feel the change.
That's right. So, are you ready to commit to your daily routine? Start today. Speak, listen, learn, and tomorrow, do it again. All right. So we've talked about your daily routine, speaking for 10 minutes, listening every day, learning and using 5 new words. But now, let's go deeper into something that every English learner struggles with at some point. I hear this all the time. But Adam, I don't have anyone to practice with. There's no one around me who speaks English. How can I get better if I have no partner? Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you can change everything. You don't need a partner. You need the courage to start. I know it sounds simple, but this is the truth. Most fluent speakers I know, including me, Sophia, and even other language learners, we all practiced alone when we started. We built our fluency before we ever had real conversations with other people. And today, we're going to show you exactly how you can practice real-life English speaking, even if you're completely alone in your room. So, if you're listening right now, and you've been waiting for a partner, stop waiting. Your practice starts today.
Yes, Adam, I love that. And I want to get personal here because this topic is close to my heart. When I started learning English, I didn't have anyone to practice with. I was living in a small town where nobody spoke English. And to be honest, I felt stuck. I thought, how will I ever get better? But one day I made a decision. I said, you know what? I'm not going to wait anymore. I'll practice alone. So, every night, I locked myself in my room. And I talked. To myself. Sometimes, I pretended I was having a conversation with a friend. Other times, I imagined I was on a stage giving a speech to thousands of people. At first, I felt ridiculous. I laughed at myself. But after a few days, something changed. Suddenly, words came faster. I felt more confident. And the first time I had a real conversation with a native speaker, I surprised myself because I could actually speak. So, if you're alone right now, I get it. But let me tell you, you can still practice. You can still grow, and you can still become fluent. Because I did it. And you can too.
That's such a powerful story, Sophia. And it's proof that speaking alone works. So let's give you some practical techniques you can start using today. If you're listening, grab a notebook or just note these down mentally. Because these are the exact tools that can transform your speaking, even when you're alone. Technique number 1, shadowing. Speak like an echo. This is one of the best ways to improve your fluency, pronunciation, and speed all at once. It's called shadowing. Here's what you do. Play a podcast, a movie, or a YouTube video in English. As you listen, repeat what the speaker is saying, at the same time, like an echo. Don't wait. Don't pause. Try to follow their speed and their tone, even if you don't understand everything. The goal here is not to be perfect. The goal is to train your mouth and your brain to work together quickly. You are building fluency. You are practicing the natural flow of English. When I was learning Spanish, I did this every day with Spanish news channels. At first, I couldn't keep up. I felt slow, but after a week, my mouth started moving faster. My pronunciation improved, and most importantly, I stopped translating in my head. I started thinking in the language. So, try this today. Pick your favorite English video, put on your headphones and shadow the speaker. Do it every day, and you will see the results.
Yes, Adam. Shadowing is like magic. And I'll tell you another thing I did. I recorded myself. Technique number 2. Record yourself, listen, improve. This is simple but powerful. Take your phone, open the voice recorder app, and talk for 1 to 2 minutes. Talk about anything, your day, your plans, your dreams. Then, here's the hard part. Listen to yourself. I know, it feels strange. Nobody likes their voice at first. But this is how you improve. When you listen to your own speaking, you'll notice small things. Oh, I pause a lot. I keep saying or ah. I said he go instead of he goes. And once you see those mistakes, you can fix them. I did this every week when I was learning English. And every time I listened, I found something to improve. Over time, my confidence went up. My fluency got better. Because I was becoming my own teacher.
That's so good, Sophia. And let me add a third tool, one that's perfect for 2025. Technique number 3. Talk to AI bots like ChatGPT. We live in an amazing time. You don't need a human partner anymore. You can open ChatGPT or other AI chatbots and start a conversation. You can type, or if you're using a voice assistant, you can talk. Ask the AI, "Hi, how are you today?" Or say, "Can you help me practice a job interview?" It's 24/7 practice. Free, unlimited, and no judgment. And here's the best part. AI will never laugh at you. It will never say you're wrong. It will just help you. And every time you talk to it, you are practicing real-life English.
Yes, I've used ChatGPT myself, and it feels like talking to a friend. If you're nervous about talking to real people, start with AI. It's like a warm-up before the real game.
Exactly. So let's put this all together for our listeners. If you're alone, here's how you practice speaking like a pro. 1. Shadowing. Listen and repeat what you hear, like an echo. 2. Record yourself. Talk for 2 minutes, listen back, and improve. 3. Talk to AI. Chat with ChatGPT or voice assistants. Practice real conversations. Do one or do all 3, but do it every day. Because here's the truth. Fluency is built when you speak, not when you wait. So don't wait for the perfect partner. You are your partner.
Yes, you have everything you need right now. Your voice, your phone, and your courage.
That's it. So, after this episode, try one of these techniques today. Talk to your mirror. Shadow a podcast. Record yourself. Just start. Because every time you speak, even alone, you're not just practicing. You're becoming fluent. All right. So by now, you've started speaking. You're talking to yourself, shadowing, recording, maybe even chatting with AI bots. But here's something I want you to really understand. Speaking is only half the story. If you want to speak English like a pro, there's another skill you need to master: listening. Because let's be honest, speaking fluently is not just about you talking. Fluency is when you can have a conversation, when you can understand the other person, respond naturally, and keep the flow going. And that's why listening is the secret key. The better you listen, the better you speak. Listening unlocks fluency.
Absolutely, Adam. And I'll tell you, listening changed everything for me. I remember when I first started learning English, I was so focused on textbooks. I was learning grammar, memorizing vocabulary. But when I tried to talk to a native speaker, I froze because they spoke fast. I couldn't understand their accent. I kept asking, "Sorry, can you repeat that?" And I realized I didn't have a speaking problem. I had a listening problem, because if you can't understand, you can't reply. So I made listening my daily habit, and let me tell you, it worked like magic. Absolutely, Adam. And I'll tell you, listening changed everything for me. I remember when I first started learning English, I was so focused on textbooks. I was learning grammar, memorizing vocabulary. But when I tried to talk to a native speaker, I froze because they spoke fast. I couldn't understand their accent. I kept asking, "Sorry, can you repeat that?" And I realized I didn't have a speaking problem. I had a listening problem, because if you can't understand, you can't reply. So I made listening my daily habit. And let me tell you, it worked like magic.
Yes, and that's the thing, Sophia. Listening is not just hearing, it's training your brain. When you listen to real, natural English every day, something amazing happens. You start recognizing common phrases. You hear how words connect in real conversations. You get comfortable with different accents. And over time, your brain starts to predict what's coming next. That's when fluency really starts to build. So, if you're listening to this podcast right now, first of all, great job. You're already training your ears, but we want to give you some pro tips to make your listening practice even more powerful.
Yes, because not all listening is the same. Passive listening is good, but active listening is what transforms your fluency. Let me explain. Passive listening is when you play English in the background while cooking, driving, or cleaning. This is great. It surrounds you with English. Your brain absorbs the sounds. But active listening is when you sit down, focus, and train your ears like an athlete. And this is what makes you fluent faster. So, here's what I do. And you can try this today. Step 1. Listen without subtitles. First, pick a podcast, a YouTube interview, or an audiobook. And the first time, listen without subtitles. Just let it flow. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Focus on the rhythm, the tone, the emotion. Step 2. Listen again. With subtitles now, listen a second time. But this time, turn on the subtitles or read the transcript. Check the words you missed. Notice how fast speech connects words like, "What are you doing?" Sounds like "what you doing." Step 3. Pause and repeat. This is my favourite. Listen to one sentence. Pause. Repeat that sentence out loud, exactly like the speaker. Copy their tone, their speed, their accent. I call this listen, pause, repeat. It's like copying a native speaker, but in slow motion. Do this every day, and you will sound more natural when you speak.
That's so good, Sophia. And let me add something that worked for me. When I was learning Spanish, I used to listen to interviews with people I liked. Actors, musicians, athletes, because I was interested in their stories, and that kept me motivated. So, if you're listening, find something you love in English. If you like football, watch interviews with players. If you like movies, listen to actors talking about their work. Because when you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like practice. It feels fun.
Exactly, Adam. And one more thing, don't get frustrated if you don't understand everything. At the beginning, I understood maybe 30%, but I kept listening. And slowly, it became 50%, then 70%. Now, I can watch movies without subtitles. So for everyone listening right now, the more you listen, the better you speak. It's a fact. So start today. Listen to something in English and do it every day.
Perfectly said, Sophia. So let's recap the key steps to becoming a better listener. 1. Listen without subtitles first. 2. Listen again with subtitles or transcript. 3. Pause and repeat sentences out loud. Copy the speaker. 4. Choose topics you love, so you enjoy the process.
That's your formula. And when you combine this listening practice with your daily speaking routine, you'll see your fluency explode.
Absolutely. So are you ready to train your ears like a pro? Start today. Find something you love and listen. Because every minute you listen, you're getting closer to fluency. All right, so you're listening every day, you're speaking every day, you're building those small wins, and you're starting to feel that fluency building. But now, we need to talk about something that can slow you down like a traffic jam. And I see this all the time with learners from every country. It's this habit of translating in your head before you speak. You know what I mean, right? You want to say something in English. But first, your brain thinks in your native language. Then it tries to translate. And by the time you find the right English words, the moment is gone. Maybe you were in a shop and you wanted to ask, "Where's the milk?" But in your head, it went like this. Okay, milk is lech, or doodh, or halib. What's the sentence again? Oh no, too late. And that's when you freeze. You get nervous. You stay quiet.
Oh, Adam, I know this so well. That was me for a long time. Every time I spoke English, it felt like my brain was working overtime. I was having two conversations, one in my language and one in English, at the same time. I remember once I was at a restaurant. The waiter asked, "Would you like anything else?" But in my head, I was like, "Okay, what does he mean? Anything else? Algo más? Kuch auch? What do I say?" And by the time I figured it out, I just smiled and said, "No, thank you." It was so stressful. But when I finally stopped translating and started thinking directly in English, everything became easier. That's when my fluency really started to grow.
Exactly, Sophia. So, if you're listening right now and you're thinking, "Yes, I do that. I translate everything in my head." Don't worry, it's normal. Everyone starts like that. But here's the good news. You can train your brain to stop translating. And when you do, you'll speak faster, more naturally, and with more confidence. So, let's talk about how to do it. Tip number 1. Think in simple English. Here's the mistake a lot of learners make. They try to think in perfect, advanced sentences in their native language, and then translate that into perfect English. That's too hard. Instead, think in simple English. Use easy words, short sentences. For example, if you see a chair, don't think, "Oh, this is a beautiful wooden chair, and I bought it 2 years ago from a shop." That's too much. Just think, "This is a chair." Simple, director, easy. When you feel happy, don't think, "I am experiencing a wonderful emotional state right now." No! Just think, "I am happy." Train your brain to think in small, simple English thoughts, because simple English is fluent English.
Yes, Adam. And let's make this practical. If you're listening right now, here's an activity I used to do every day. It's so simple, but it works. Activity. Name everything around you in English. Look around your room right now. Say the words in English, in your head or out loud. Table, chair, window, phone, door, light. When you go outside, do the same. Car, bus, road, tree, sky, people. And it's not just objects. You can do this with your feelings too. If you feel tired, say, "I am tired." If you feel happy, say, "I am happy today." You're training your brain to think directly in English, no translation.
That's such a great exercise, Sophia. And let me add something to that. Talk to yourself in simple English all day. It can be inside your head or out loud. When you wake up, "I am waking up." "I am brushing my teeth." "I am making coffee." When you're working, "I am sending an email." "I am talking to my boss." Keep it simple. Don't worry about long, complex sentences. Just build that habit of thinking in English.
Yes, and the more you do it, the faster it becomes. At first, your brain will still try to translate. That's okay. Be patient. But after a few weeks, you'll notice something amazing. You'll start having small thoughts in English, without trying. The other day, I was cooking, and in my head I just thought, "Oh, I need more salt." And I realized I wasn't translating. I was just thinking in English.
That's the goal, because when you think in English, you speak in English, fast and natural. So, for everyone listening, here's your practice for the next 30 days. 1. Think in simple English. Short, easy sentences. Forget perfection. 2. Name everything around you in English. At home, outside, at work. Label the world in English. 3. Describe your actions and feelings in English. Cooking, say, "I am cooking." Feeling tired, say, "I am tired."
Exactly. And don't wait for a perfect moment. You can do this anywhere, anytime, even when you're walking down the street.
That's it. And remember, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to think faster, speak faster, without translating.
Because when you stop translating, that's when you start speaking like a pro.
So, are you ready? Start today. Name things. Think in simple English. Talk to yourself. Because every small thought in English brings you closer to fluency. All right. Now this is where things start to get really exciting. Because up until now, we've been helping you build your foundation, speaking alone, listening every day, thinking in English. But now, it's time to take that English out into the real world. Because the goal isn't just to speak to yourself forever, right? The goal is to talk to real people, confidently. And I know, for many of you listening right now, this part feels scary. Maybe you've thought, what if I say the wrong thing? What if they laugh at me? What if I freeze? Listen to me. That fear is normal. But here's the truth. Real conversations are where the real fluency happens. Because when you speak to a real person, you're not just practicing English, you're practicing confidence. And confidence is what will make you speak like a pro.
Oh, Adam, I know this fear so well. I remember when I first moved to an English-speaking country, I was so nervous to talk to people. I would go into a coffee shop and I would rehearse in my mind. Okay, I will say, "1 coffee, please." I would practice it 5 times before reaching the counter, just for 1 coffee. And sometimes the person would say something unexpected like, "Would you like sugar with that?" And I would panic because I hadn't practiced that answer. But you know what helped me break this fear? I stopped trying to be perfect. Instead, I became curious. I stopped focusing on saying everything right, and I started asking questions. When I went to a store, instead of just saying, "Coffee, please," I asked, "What's your best coffee here?" When I saw someone wearing a nice jacket, I said, "Wow, that's a cool jacket. Where did you buy it?" And suddenly, something amazing happened. People started talking to me. And they weren't judging me. They were happy to help. That's when I realized people don't care if your English is perfect. They care that you're interested.
Yes, Sophia, that's such a powerful shift. So, for everyone listening, if you're scared to start conversations in English, here's the secret. Stop focusing on, "What should I say?" Instead, start focusing on, "What can I ask?" Questions are your superpower. Because when you ask someone a question, two things happen. 1. They start talking, so the pressure is off you. 2. You show interest, and people love talking about themselves. So, I want to give you some super simple conversation openers that you can use anywhere, with anyone. You don't need anything fancy. These work everywhere: shops, cafes, buses, parks, and they are so easy. Ready? Here we go. Opener number 1. "Hi, how's your day going?" Simple, friendly, works anywhere. Opener number 2. "That's a nice shirt. Where did you get it?" Everyone loves a compliment. Opener number 3. "Hey, I'm trying to improve my English. Can I practice with you for a minute?" Be honest. People respect that.
Oh, Adam, I love those. And let me add one that always worked for me. Opener number 4. I'm new here. What's a good place to eat? It doesn't matter if you're new or not. People love recommending their favorite places. And once they start talking, you're in a conversation.
Exactly. And here's what I want you to understand. Conversations don't have to be long. You're not trying to become best friends. You're building your confidence, one small chat at a time. And I want to challenge everyone listening right now. For the next 7 days, talk to one new person every week, just once a week. Start small, ask a shop worker about a product, or ask someone at a bus stop about the next bus. One person, one conversation, every week. Because every time you start a conversation, you win. Even if you make mistakes, you win. Because you're growing.
Yes. And here's one more thing. Most people are kind. I know we're all afraid that someone will laugh or be rude, but 99% of the time, people will be helpful. And the best part? Every conversation makes the next one easier. The first time, you'll feel nervous. The second time, a little less. By the 5th time, you'll feel like a pro.
Absolutely. So let's put this into action. 1. Start small. Talk to one new person this week. Just one. 2. Use simple openers. "Hi, how's your day? That's a nice jacket. Where did you get it? I'm learning English. Can I practice for a minute?" 3. Be curious. Not perfect. Ask questions. Listen. Enjoy the chat.
That's your mission this week. And trust me, your confidence will grow faster than ever.
Because when you speak to real people, you're not just learning English, you're owning it.
So, are you ready? Go out there and start your first conversation this week.
All right, so you've started having real conversations. You're asking questions. You're building that confidence. But let me guess. Sometimes after a conversation you think, "Oh no, did I say that wrong?" Or maybe the person looked a little confused and you wondered, "Did I make a mistake?" Listen, if that's you, I want you to relax. Because mistakes are normal. Mistakes are part of learning. And here's a secret. Even native speakers make mistakes all the time. But here's the key difference. Confident speakers don't let mistakes stop them. They notice the mistake, they fix it, and they move on. That's what pros do.
Yes, Adam. And I have to be honest here. I used to be so afraid of mistakes. I thought if I said something wrong, people would laugh or think I was stupid. But actually, the opposite happened. People were kind. And when I made a mistake, they helped me. But there was one mistake I made again and again. I would always say, "He go to work every day." Instead of the correct way, "He goes to work every day." I knew it was wrong, but it just came out. And you know why? Because in my native language, we don't add es for he or she. So my brain was following the rules of my first language. And this is so common, especially when you're speaking fast. But when I noticed it, instead of feeling bad, I practiced fixing it. I repeated the correct version out loud every day. He goes. She goes. Adam goes. Until one day, it became natural. So, if you're making mistakes like this, don't panic. Don't stop. Just fix them.
That's such a great example, Sophia. And I want to share 3 common mistakes I see all the time from English learners, no matter where they're from. So, if you're listening right now, pay attention, because you might be making these too. Mistake number 1. Using the wrong tense. I hear this a lot. Yesterday, I eat pizza. But it should be, yesterday, I ate pizza. The past tense is something that can trip you up, especially in conversations. But here's a trick. When you talk about the past, think about ed and irregular verbs. I worked. I played. But some are different. I ate. I went. I saw.
Yes, and the more you practice past tense verbs out loud, the easier it gets. You want your brain to automatically choose the past form when you talk about yesterday or last week.
Exactly. Okay, mistake number 2, saying he speak good instead of he speaks well. This is a classic. I get it. Good is an easy word, but when we talk about actions, we need well. He speaks well. She plays well. And don't forget the apostrophe S for he, she, it. He speaks, not he speak.
Oh, it's so small, but it's so important. And trust me, everyone forgets it sometimes when they're nervous. But the more you practice slowly, he speaks. She works. It rains. It starts to feel natural.
Yes, and that brings me to the last one. Mistake number 3, saying I am agree instead of I agree. This one is so common because in many languages you need to say I am before agree. But in English, we just say I agree. Simple. So, next time someone says something you like, don't say I am agree. Just smile and say I agree.
And these are small mistakes, but fixing them will make you sound more natural and confident. So, Adam, what's the best way to actually fix these mistakes fast?
Great question, Sophia. And I'm going to share my favorite quick fix exercise. And this works for anyone. It's called repeat the correct sentence loudly. Here's what you do. When you notice a mistake, don't just think, oh, I'll fix it later. Say the correct sentence out loud, 5 times. Example, if you said, he go to school, stop and say, he goes to school. He goes to school, he goes to school. 5 times, out loud. It feels simple, but this is powerful. Because when you speak the correct version, you're training your brain and your mouth together. You're replacing the mistake with the right pattern.
Oh, I love that. And sometimes I would even record myself saying the correct version, just to hear it back. Because when you hear yourself say it correctly, it becomes part of your memory.
Exactly. So, let's summarize this for everyone listening. Top 3 common mistakes to watch out for. 1. Using the wrong tense, I eat versus I ate. 2. Forgetting the es, he speak versus he speaks well. 3. Saying I am agree instead of I agree. Quick fix exercise. When you notice a mistake, don't worry. Say the correct sentence out loud, 5 times.
And remember, mistakes are your teachers. Every mistake you fix brings you closer to fluency.
That's right. So, next time you catch yourself making one of these mistakes, smile. Fix it. Say it out loud. Move on. Because that's what pros do. Wow, what a journey we've been on together. We started with mindset. We talked about daily habits, speaking alone, fixing mistakes, building confidence, and supercharging your vocabulary. And now, you have a complete 30-day plan to speak English like a pro. But listen, this plan only works if you take action. Because knowledge is not enough. It's what you do every day that will transform your English. So here's my question for you. Are you ready to commit to these 30 days? Because if you are, I promise you, your English will change, your confidence will grow, and you'll finally feel like, yes, I can speak English like a pro.
Yes, Adam. And I want to say this to everyone listening. You are capable. You are good enough. You can do this. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter if your English is not perfect. What matters is that you show up every day and you keep speaking. Because every small step you take today is building your fluency for tomorrow.
Exactly, Sophia. And remember, we are here with you every step of the way. So, if you found this episode helpful, hit that follow button. Share this with a friend who's learning English. Let's grow together.
And if you start your 30-day challenge, we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments or send us a message. What's your biggest win this week? What word did you learn today? What conversation did you start?
Because this is not just a podcast. This is a community. We are all learning. We are all growing. We are all becoming fluent together.
So, until next time, keep speaking, keep listening, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself.